We've all seen leadership. We can point to it, we can recognize it when it's great, and we definitely know when it's bad. But what is it really? What's the secret sauce that separates a good leader from a truly great one? Is it something you're born with, or can you actually learn it? Well, today we're going to break it all down.
Let's kick things off with this quote from Bob Bechek. Now, this is a guy who had a 99% employee approval rating, so he probably knows a thing or two. He says that real power today isn't about your title on an org chart. It's about informal authority. The ability to inspire people, not just order them around. This one idea kind of flips the script, so it's the perfect place for us to start.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get on the same page about what leadership even is. Then, we'll dive into that classic, age-old debate, are leaders born or made? After that, we'll hit the big turning point in leadership theory, see how it all works in the real world, and finally, take a look at what it means to be a leader right now in the modern world.
All right, first things first. Before we can talk about all the different styles and theories, we need to build a solid foundation. We've got to agree on what we're even talking about when we say the word leadership. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. It's a process, it's about an objective, but the most important words are right at the end. Through people. That's the whole ballgame. Leadership isn't fundamentally about spreadsheets or supply chains. It's about inspiring and guiding other human beings to get something done together.
And that brings up this classic distinction, leader versus manager. Are they the same thing? Well, not exactly. A manager makes sure the job gets done, focusing on the processes. A leader, on the other hand, focuses on the people doing the job. You can absolutely be a manager without being a leader. But here's the kicker. The very best managers, they're always leaders too.
Okay, so if that's what leadership is, that brings us to the next big question, the one that dominated research for decades. Are some people just born to lead, or can anyone learn how to do it?
The very first major theory was called the trait approach, and its core belief was super simple. Leaders are born, not made. The idea was that certain people just had these innate qualities, these special characteristics that made them destined to be in charge.
So researchers went on this massive hunt for these so-called magic traits. They studied everything you see here and more: intelligence, persistence, stability. But here's the wild part. After 50 years of research, they came up empty. They couldn't find a single universal list of traits that all great leaders shared. The theory just didn't hold up.
Now, that failure was actually a blessing in disguise. It forced researchers to ask a much better question. Instead of asking what leaders are, they started asking, what do leaders actually do? This was a huge shift away from personality and toward action. And that new question led to a huge breakthrough. Different studies all started pointing to the same two things. Turns out, most leadership behaviors fall into two big buckets: behaviors focused on the task, getting the work done, and behaviors focused on the people, building relationships and taking care of the team. But this just created a new debate, right? Which is better? Should you be a task leader or a people leader? And the answer they found was revolutionary. The best style? Well, it depends. And that simple idea changed everything.
This is the situational approach. It says that effective leadership isn't just about what the leader does, it's a combination of the leader, the followers, and the situation they're all in. There is no one-size-fits-all best style of leadership. It's all about being able to adapt your approach to whatever the context demands.
The path-goal theory is a perfect example of this in action. It says a leader's job is basically to clear the path to the goal for their team. And as you can see, sometimes that means being really directive and giving clear instructions. Other times it means being supportive and friendly. Or maybe you need to be participative and get everyone's input. The point is, you have to choose the right behavior for the path ahead.
So, now that we have this more flexible, adaptable view of leadership, let's look at how it actually plays out. How does this apply to the key things a leader has to do every single day?
Let's talk about making decisions. It's not a simple choice between I decide or we decide. It's actually a whole spectrum. On one end, the boss makes the call alone, period. On the complete opposite end, the entire group makes the decision. The right approach depends on things like how much time you have, how experienced your team is, and what the stakes are.
Now, leadership isn't just about daily tasks. It's also about inspiring huge, meaningful change. And that's where transformational leadership comes in. These leaders don't just manage, they inspire. They create a vision that's so powerful, it actually changes how people think and feel about what's possible. And on a more personal, one-on-one level, leadership often looks like coaching.
This is all about working directly with people to help them figure out how to tackle specific problems. It's built on a foundation of really listening, offering support, and, of course, leading by example. And all of this brings us to today. The world of work is always evolving, which means our ideas about what makes a great leader are evolving right along with it.
Take servant leadership. This idea completely flips the traditional power pyramid upside down. Instead of the team existing to serve the leader's main job is to serve the team. The whole focus shifts from self-interest to helping others succeed and grow.
Then you have this incredible concept called Level 5 leadership. It's this fascinating paradox. Level 5 leaders have deep personal humility, but at the same time they have this intense, almost fierce professional will. They are incredibly ambitious, but their ambition is for the company, never for themselves.
And finally, there's authentic leadership. In a world where trust is everything, this is so important. This style is all about leading from a place of strong moral character. Authentic leaders know who they are, they know what they believe in, and they have the courage to act on those beliefs, even when it's hard.
So, as you can see, our ideas about leadership have come a really long way. We've gone from looking for born leaders to understanding behaviors to adapting to the situation, and now to these modern ideals of service, humility, and authenticity. This whole evolution leaves us with a pretty important question to reflect on. What does your approach to leadership, whether you're leading a team or just leading yourself, say about you?